Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about just the awakening aspect. In the last video I talked a little bit about Follies of an Awakening Fool, the book that I had written in 2013, and then I talked about how there's an integration period that once the awakening really takes a hold of our life, then we have to start to assimilate everything that kind of occurred in our awakening. And I talked about Kundalini a little bit, and enlightenment, Ascension, light body, and then other beings. Probably the most critical for a large percentage of the world is this awakening. The awakening is actually something that has been, taught by many teachers over many hundreds, thousands of years. Christ was trying to awaken people. Buddha was trying to awaken people. Krishna was trying to awaken people. Different yogis, sages. These are all teachings that are trying to just awaken, reawaken actually, our state of truth that we carry when we come into the earth plane, and that we start to become conditioned out of by being kind of focused into the mental plane. The mental plane is actually, I don't even like to think about it, it just really is the truth. The mental plane is essentially equivalent to the story of Adam and Eve and biting into the apple, and once you do that, suddenly you're aware that you're naked, you're aware that, that there's a lot of different things that you can experience that you weren't aware of before this kind of awakening moment. Except that with the with these Adam and Eve story and the parallel of the mental plane, it's more that we awaken to this illusion and we forget the actual truth. So in an awakening, a spiritual awakening or a Kundalini activation, we actually start to undo all the mental plane, uneat the apple as it were, and start to experience things that we hadn't really allowed or been allowed to allow from conditioning and things like this into our presence. And so it's kind of a fun little journey when you start to realize that everything that you experienced in your relatively asleep state, in your human experience, has all been false. And the awakening starts to open you up to that. But what happens, and this is something that I really am here to help people break through. This is probably the number one aspect of an awakening, is when you start to reawaken, when the anesthesia wears off and you're starting to perceive things now in multiple sensory experiences, is there's kind of an anger that starts to occur with a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. I would actually say that's the rule, and if you don't experience that, you're the exception. That suddenly, oh wow, the government this, the religion that, you got to eat a certain way, because if you don't, then you are buying into the illusion more. You got to, if you're sick or ill, then you're not a spiritual person, not an awake person. You just kind of go through the gamut of things that are kind of like the door opened, and that's it. You open the door. You're kind of peeking in, you're looking around, and you're seeing that there's more in there, and you're going, okay, I got it, I'm in. And that's not anywhere near the truth. I went beyond, I went into the door, and when I got into the door, that's when I wrote the book Follies of an Awakening Fool, and I did write from that perspective still of money is bad, politics are bad, religion is bad, everybody's got it wrong. So you see, you get into the door and you write from this place and you think, I've got it, I've got everything. And then it's kind of a whirlwind. And everything is spinning, and you're like, well, I can't go back out that door because now I know too much. But for some reason, the ego is like, I don't want you to go any further and see that there's more, because the ego doesn't want itself to be dissolved. And so you now are stuck in between two worlds, sort of, in the awakening. The awakening is like a gateway drug. People refer to maybe marijuana as a gateway drug to all others. True or not, it's kind of the same thing with marijuana. It won't take you all the way at all, but it does open doors for you to experience more and experience more insight, and to act as a body healing mechanism. And so it has its value, and so does the awakening. You can start to actually correct things in your system that are going wrong. Again, the healing term is a false term, and the healer is a false paradigm. But from the perspective of starting to right-size things in your system, in your complete structural system, physically, mentally, spiritually, these things start to show themselves as a possibility in this awakened state. Now, there's many different ways to experience an awakening, many, more than I could discuss right here, but essentially what mine occurred from was a mental crunch. I was in the Navy for 20 years, and probably the last couple of years in the Navy is when it probably started. In fact, when I think about it, I was surfing a lot in San Diego, and I was loving it, and suddenly I couldn't go on these long drives to go, 3 miles that would take an hour because of the traffic, and then get there, crowded lineups, aggravated surfers, I'm aggravated, and this would just basically be my cycle over and over and over. So something was already stirring, but I didn't know what it was. I just knew, well, my time in the Navy is almost up, and I'm probably just getting a little old and cranky. Well, and then I retired, and when I retired, I decided to move to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where my mom and my dad are in various parts of the state, and be around family, and maybe be around fewer people, more openness, and hope that would activate kind of a cleansing and kind of a rebalance. There's a big story that went along with that that's written in the Follies of an Awakening Fool book. But basically, in that period of time, I saw one of George Carlin's last tours on HBO. I'd never watched him. I always thought he was angry. But when I look back now, what he brought because not long after that tour, he died. And I think he was definitely causing awakenings in people. And I was one of those people. Something ignited in me, and it carried forward into this multiple level drama that I was experiencing over the next couple of years. And then when I got to the University of Minnesota, when I retired from the Navy in January of 2010, a few months later I was in the University of Minnesota in this top kind of a world-renowned public affairs program. Just everything that they were saying wasn't making sense, and everything that I was trying to find as a solution to start fixing problems in the world, to do my part of it, everything that they taught was totally wrong and inappropriate and would never work. It will never work. We're practicing those in the world today, and we're not finding solutions. And this was aggravating me to the point where I just couldn't focus. I couldn't function in life anymore. And so I started to have a meltdown, a complete meltdown. My second marriage I was in I said I'm walking away from it. My daughter was living with me and having her issues, and I was having my issues trying to be a good dad, not connecting with my parents as like I had expected to. Plus, I was involved with a major nonprofit running kind of a chapter there in Minnesota, and that was causing issues. I mean, from all external accounts, it looked as if I was just bringing a lot of negativity to myself. And in the mental plane, that is true, and yet that is not true, because when we step out of the mental plane, there's a bigger picture. And we're bringing drama to ourselves, but we're actually trying to give ourselves a push to grow. And I didn't know that, and so I wanted to leave the planet. But I didn't. I chose to somehow make it through this, and I didn't know, what it would take. Well, so I've written about all this again, but ultimately it was a mental collapsing. The entire mental plane, which is an energy field around us, just started to collapse on top of me and caused me extreme claustrophobia. I had nowhere to go. And so suddenly, as an awakening really is, the energy, it's an energetic shift, and it just popped, and it just started to just open me up. Kind of like a nuclear explosion, big mushroom cloud, but it's all energy. It just started bursting out of me and disintegrating everything in its path. My life, the people that I was connected with, I just, boom, launched. And that was the energetic shift that is an awakening, a true awakening, as I've seen it over and over and over through other people. It actually has to happen this way. If it's not happening, it doesn't have to be these big dramatic stories, but if something doesn't, boom, pop your energy and start to bring you back into kind of a homeostasis, then you're not really experiencing an awakening. You might not even ever actually experience this, and that's okay too, but just kind of important to know that an awakening is an energetic shift, as is everything beyond the awakening, the initial awakening. The awakening doesn't stop, it just starts to evolve, and it's always energetic shifts. The more we release things, we step into new portals, into new doors, and then we go into new realms, and we have to always go more than into the door, you see. We have to go further into the door to start to actually embrace what's coming, and it's always an unknown. It's a very dark space. Nobody is there to guide us. We're leaving everything behind that anybody tells us is normal. We have people calling us crazy, saying, what's wrong with you? You need blah, blah, blah. You need to go to the hospital. You need help. You're losing friends. You're losing family, potentially. Mostly it does happen this way, because one paradigm is totally ending inside of you, and the true paradigm that you are, that we all are, is starting to just pull you in like a tractor beam, and it wants you to come further. And what happens is in this initial, to go back to the initial awakening, is we get stuck in that door, and we're like taffy. Part of us is being pulled this way, part of us is still holding on in the background, and we're starting to get stretched thinner and thinner here. And this is the struggle that I see so many people are having in an awakened state. Oh, I'm awake. Oh, I'm enlightened. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. I got everything. No, that's bullshit. You're stuck. And I know you are stuck. And many people know you're stuck, even if they don't know that that's what they know. And you got to just step fully in. You have to let go of whatever identity that you are trying to hold on to, because something better is going to be there. I think I still look relatively normal, communicate relatively normal. I can have fully functioning conversations, and I have literally lost that mental plane. I've lost my mind many, many, many ways. And it does turn you into a bit of a madman or a mad woman, and because you start to see the joke of everything. But because now I'm living in two realities at least, this sort of earthly reality and this sort of heavenly reality, and then even beyond there, multiple realities at one time, it's still a challenge. And so the madman just wants to come out more and more and laugh its way through everything. But the earthly part gets just, wow, people are really stuck, and it causes sort of a friction inside, and I constantly have to work on creating this harmony within, and just seeing the beauty of all that is. And those are steps that the awakening will lead to, and how to integrate all this, and how to be really, really, truly a master, to be activated as the I am presence, the one, not just one person here to save the world. That martyrdom is gone. It's old. We don't need that anymore. But but we have to be activated into the one mentality, the one energy. I should say mentality is the wrong expression, but we have to really embrace the energy that flows through of this connectivity to everything, and it is an energy, and all of this becomes an energetic shift to open up, as we could say, the chakra system, to just have everything running streamlined in our body and in our consciousness, so that we are literally becoming a crystalline sort of embodiment. And that's when everything from the ether can come in and bring in everything, and we just have to keep our mind out of the way, not a component to blockage anymore. That awakening has helped us remove this, and now we can start to just learn how to operate as an energetic portal. And when we do that, then we're starting to operate from true power, which isn't ours. I don't own this power, and nobody does. And that's one of the things that people are really stuck in an awakening and all this, because then they're like, ooh, I have power. Oh, now I'm as powerful as the president, or I'm a spiritual person and I have a lot more than you have, and oh, I'm a vegan, and so therefore I'm better than you because I'm taking care of. That's false power. This true power, it doesn't communicate anything of that nature, nothing at all. So this is how I know, even if I'm not just dialing into energy, I just hear the words that people speak and I see how they communicate it, and they're lying deeply. You might be one of them. Because guess what? I was one of them too. And if it weren't for integration and just living this path and doing the work that I have and being open to just being pulled, I wouldn't be able to be a good teacher. And I can see all this, and I have such deep compassion for this process, and I just really, really want to see this ascension take place. It takes place from each individual being, because that is the Christ consciousness resurrected. That is the Krishna 10th avatar returning now to wipe away the dark of the world, the shadow, the confusion, the demons, all the lost thing, all the things that create our lost environment and paradigms, to return us to our perfect divine order, because we are Krishna, we are God, we are this heaven, we are the angels, we are the ascended masters, we are the Christ, we are the Buddha, we are each other, we are the plants, we are the water. And that's why all these things do want to line up and start to tell that story again. But we can't just speak it out. We have to be it. And the more we are it, the more we can move forward and start to create this new world environment. And all those other things that we're worried about will just start to naturally fall away, because we don't see them anymore. When we don't see them anymore, then we don't worry about it. We know that we're doing our work, and by doing our work, we are doing the ripple effect, and everything is starting to be fixed by being present. And that is really, really important. And so that's kind of a nutshell version of the awakening. I do work, and my wife Allison, we both do work to help you through or into an awakening. We do energy services, which we could do traditional Reiki, but we've got something much bigger and better that runs through us because of our activations in our enlightened states, in our activated states, in our light being states, and our connection to other beings multidimensionally that we bring through. And these are things that are designed to bring you activation codes for wherever you are in your process, to bring you further. And so this is our life work, and this is what we're here for. And if you would like to connect with us and break through something new for you, you just have to contact us, and I'll put the information in the notes, and I'll put Follies of an Awakening Fool in the notes, and I'll look forward to speaking to you soon in a few days with another video for the next step beyond awakening. And again, this is just a nutshell. It's possible to cover in any length of video, This is a lifetime process, okay? So I hope this helps a little bit, and I hope to talk to you soon. Much love to you and to this beautiful planet and this beautiful process that we're in. Namaste.